Light be in me as a voice that speaks in silence. The fire of thy spirit is in me and shall prevail. Let's all strive for the wisdom that leads to the welfare of all. In a globalized world, education cultivates the sense of being a citizen of the world. This idea aligns with the ancient Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the world is one family. This encourages individuals to move beyond narrow tubular viewpoints and embrace a more comprehensive understanding of the world. By exposing individuals to diverse cultures, philosophies, and ways of thinking, education can help them appreciate the interconnectedness of all life. This leads to a harmonious worldview where the self is not seen in isolation, but as a part of a larger unified whole. Today, as we gather online, we feel united by a shared vision of integrating human values into education to shape a more compassionate, ethical, and inclusive world. And with this field, I take the honor of welcoming you all, the galaxy of scholars, with love and vivacity to this ninth international online conference on universal human values in higher education, that is ICHVHE 2024, being organized during 22nd to 24th November 2K24 with a significant theme, value-based education for humane society, including UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Three special interest groups like holistic value-based education, holistic human health, and addressing SDGs at the root are joining hands together to discuss on need, vision, and implementation part in this three-day worldwide online conference. Delegates from USA, Europe, and India are connected through Zoom as well as YouTube platforms. This is to illustrate that this conference is brought to you by 22 organizing partners and 200 for visualizing a humane society for a better world around. Where did this journey of conferences begin? And how has it evolved over time? Let's explore this inspiring journey and the profound purpose it holds. To guide us, we have with us today Professor H.D. Charan, Chairman NCUHV and member NCC IP AICT, former VC Bikaner Technical University. Professor Charan is strongly committed to bringing about educational reforms through universal human values. Welcome you, sir. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaskar, sir. Welcome.
Do I start sharing?
Yeah, probably you are waiting for PPT, sir.
I have.
Okay, sir, please, you can start. See. Yes, sir, it's visible.
It's visible?
G. Very nicely visible, and you are pretty audible, sir.
Welcome to all the participants. Namaste, good evening. On behalf of UHV team. I welcome all the delegates from all over the world, including India. It's my really privilege to welcome you on this occasion of ninth international conference, which I feel truly international in terms of reaching as a far away countries, and therefore it's really uh, supposed to be a very important, effective conference. Uh, the International Conference on Human Value in Higher Education, that's is an annual conference for educators. It is aiming at developing a shared vision and action for human education and uh, the emergence of human society in which the well-being of all is realized generation after generation. So that is to say, this is not for a one particular generation, but whatever we gain out of this education, human education, that will lead to the next generation. So a society will be building up generation by generation. So that become a part of their behavior as such. The basic efforts is for mainstream education, that is to holistic and value-based education. So whatever being covered under universal human value, that is holistic. So it's all encompassing for all the people, which is universal in nature. So this is not a person dependent, not a time dependent, not a place dependent. So it's applicable for each and everyone. At the same time, it's rational. It's not dependent upon do and don'ts. It's a logical. So it's universal. That is to say, it's not based on sect, races, place. So it's a universal for all. At the same time, it's logical and it's a verifiable as well. Once we realize this, think over rationally, and if we verify on our own with our own right and our own natural acceptance, it will be verified, and as such, we feel to have a harmonious being in ourselves. And that is the very purpose of our life, to have a harmonious life, happy life. So, in that way, the whatever UHV content we have, which is universal, rational, verifiable, and leading to a harmonious life. So, resulting into a fulfillment of individual goals, that is happiness and prosperity, through the development of human consciousness. And at the same time, resolution of the problem at their root, not in a piecemeal solution, but at their root. And human society in which well-being of everyone is ensured. So that way, whatever UHV is covering is reaching its goal of every individual in terms of happiness and prosperity, resolving on the problem at root, and the human society taking care of well-being of each and everyone. And if in such a way, when we think of the whole existence, we feel that whatever there exists in a whole total existence, that there is a coexistence in every unit. And essentially, existence is a coexistence. All the units in nature are following a definite uh, conduct, and they have a definite participation in existential other units. However, the human being has an option to live with that harmony, or to understand that harmony, or live without understanding this harmony. Apart from human being, all the other units, whether it's a material, it's a tree, plants, or it's a animals, birds, all are having the definite conduct, and with definite conduct, they are following the uh, rule of a nature. And with the rule of nature, they have a interconnectedness, relatedness, and they are fulfilling each other. And that's how they have the harmonious conduct with other units. However, the human being need to understand this harmony. Though harmony is there in the nature, in the existence, but human being has the option to understand this harmony and live accordingly. If he does so, he fulfills all desires and live a happy life. Or he or she can live without understanding, leading to the unfulfillment or unhappy. And as such, human being living without understanding remains unhappy, and that become a source of problem himself and for the others whosoever comes in the contact of, including human being and at the same time other the units of the existence. And to fulfill this life, essentially, a human being need to understand this. And the matter of understanding is, first of all, he is required to understand himself, herself, and the rest of existence. Means other units in the nature, including material, plants, birds, animal, all other than human being. And this is a innate nature of the human being that whatever he understands and behave accordingly, and that's what we call the role of human being in larger order, in the role of human being in the whole existence. And this is role of human being in existence is nothing but called human value. So our participation in the larger order, in the complete order, is nothing but the values. So a human being is required to learn it through education. So therefore, human values are essentially universal and is applicable to everyone, every human being. So it is the role of, therefore, it's the role of education to facilitate this understanding in all human beings so that they can live with definite human conduct, with fulfillment within and contributing to develop the human society. So that is to say, he himself, herself live with a fulfillment, happy, and contribute the similar with the other human beings and other units coming in the contact with him. With this broad concept of UHV, which is applicable and required to be implemented through education, the whole thing has been put forward with the proposal in terms of proposal, and that is thought to be explored by themselves. So this is self-exploration on its own right, own understanding, and own mutual acceptance. On this basis, that whatever being decided, that has been tried since very long in 1980 onwards at various walks of life, for people working in the education in other places in terms of proposal, and their effectiveness has been uh, being noted down. And with this, finally, in 2005 onwards, a foundation course was systematically designed, experimented in the mainstream education, and volunteers has come forward. They have put forward this proposal with the students, faculty members, and this started from one institute to a 40 university with encouraging results and thought to put forward. In 2012, first international conference was organized. So I share this experience of our uh, 40 university faculty members, teachers, students. So it will reach beyond India, and major contribution and major changes that has been noticed in 2017 when apex body of uh, apex body, only a council of technical education who deals with technical education, they took a decision that it has been a part of the mandatory course for the technical education, particularly engineering students. They had a large number of around more than 10,000 colleges. So this has become a voluminous work being taken by AICT, and that has gained a bigger space in India. Thereafter, even in the NEP, the UGC also realized this concept, and they have taken this concept forward in other than technical and professional colleges. And till now, around 237 universities has appointed their university coordinators and co-coordinators. They are understanding this concept. Some has uh, taken up this as a mandatory course. At the same time, the higher valued courses has also been designed. Even a minor degree has also been planned. So that way, it has been gaining a wider space among the technical, professional, as well as all the walks of life. Even in the schools, it has been also tried. So with this, it was thought that it is to be brought to the every human being at the international level in terms of conferences. As I mentioned, very first conference was organized in 2012 at IIIT Hyderabad. The theme was Universal Human Values. It was, of course, it's offline. Then is 2013 also, it was organized as IIIT Hyderabad with the same theme, Universal Human Values. In 2014, it was organized as Punjab Technical University with same theme, Universal Human Values. In 2015, it was out of India. The first out of India international conference was organized in 2015 at Bhutan. The concept was GNH Society, Gross National Happiness. So this is a bigger concept. Since today we have a concept of development that is based on GDP. So it was realized that GDP may not be the true picture of happiness and fulfillment. So therefore, the Bhutan has taken it as a gross national happiness. And they are, of course, practicing it. So this was a slightly bigger event outside India taken up in 2015. It's Bhutan. In 2016, it was organized as Rajkot, where the theme was Undivided Family and Universal Human Order. 2017, it was IIT Kanpur. Theme was Vision for Human Education. 2018, it was again Holistic Human Values held at Bhutan. And in 2019, it was IIT BHU Varanasi, where the theme was Character Building through Universal Human Values. That way, of course, after 2019 and 2020, we are supposed to organize this international conference, but due to COVID, it was not possible, and therefore, it's a ninth international conference is organized online. It is first online international conference in that term, and since during COVID, it was realized, it was practiced that online interaction is equally effective, and therefore it was thought that international conference can be organized online, so it can reach to the larger number of the people, and therefore this conference, ninth conference, is taking place. The theme of this conference is value-based education for human society, including the sustainable development goal. So volunteer will be sharing their experiences in this conference. There should be 4 keynote address to discuss the proposal of core content of the conference and the UHB content, sharing of the various individuals, uh, institutes that will also be taken up. There shall be 3 panel discussion because there are 3 sub-themes. One is education as such, that's the basic of it. That at the same time, there will be health, holistic health. It's not the health of the body, but the holistic health, health of the self and the body both. At the same time, sustainable development goals, SDC goals, and their basic will be also discussed, whether how it can be fulfilled. That way, conference has 51 session, of course, organized in 2 shift. Morning shift was covering the area where India and other adjoining countries, and this evening shift will be covering remaining country depending upon their time. So that way, I hope that this conference will be very much useful to all of us and will come out with certain, of course, effective and useful results so that in real terms it will reach to the other country outside the India. And again, I welcome you on this conference. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor S.D. Chatterjee, for putting this overview of the conference for our delegates. Thank you so much, sir. In this inaugural session of ICH VAT 2024, right now we are connected with the delegates from USA, Europe, India, and other parts of the world too. We are truly honored to receive a message from His Excellency Shri Vishal V. Sharma ji on this occasion. His Excellency Ambassador Vishal V. Sharma ji is a permanent delegate of India to UNESCO. Let's receive his blessings through the video, please.
Namaste to all the esteemed organizers, scholars, educators, and participants gathered for the 9th International Conference on Human Values in Higher Education. I am honored to connect with all the distinguished guests at this year's conference centered around the theme Holistic Value Based Education for a Humane Society. At the permanent delegation of India to UNESCO in Paris, we work tirelessly to promote inter alia India's sustainable development through education, scientific collaboration, and cultural diversity. As we reflect on the concept of holistic value based education, I am reminded of an idea deeply rooted in India's philosophical heritage that education is more than the accumulation of knowledge and skills. It is a journey of self realization, a way to foster wisdom, compassion, and an appreciation for interconnectedness towards Vishwa Bandhutva or universal brotherhood. True education in its essence shapes not just minds, but compassionate, empathetic individuals who are dedicated to the well being of society and all life on earth. In the context of today's challenges, a value based education is no longer optional but essential. Our world faces a multitude of crises: climate change, social inequality, and diminishing values. Education, therefore, must serve as a bridge, guiding individuals to a deeper understanding of the importance of harmony and inclusivity. A holistic education nurtures this sensibility by promoting critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and universal values that transcend cultural and natural boundaries and promotes Vasudeva Kutumbakam or fraternity. When education is holistic, universal, and rational, it fosters a way of living that is naturally aligned with harmony and well being. It moves beyond the conventional boundaries of subjects and disciplines, encouraging students to see themselves not just as professionals, but as citizens of the world. A truly humane education inspires students to ask fundamental questions. What is the purpose of my knowledge? How can it serve not only myself, but also my community, my society, and the planet? Our challenge today is to create educational frameworks that are not just academically rigorous, but also verifiable in the lived reality of human relationships and our connection to nature. This means embedding value based education into every facet of learning. Students should be empowered to verify and rationalize values through their lived experiences, making these values not just ideas, but guiding principles in their lives. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's guidance, India has championed this vision through the National Education Policy 2020, which recognizes that holistic and value based education is the foundation of nurturing responsible, resilient, and reflective citizens. This policy emphasizes learning outcomes that include character development, ethical reasoning, and a commitment to democratic values. In the same spirit, UNESCO's own Education 2030 agenda highlights the need to equip learners with the knowledge and skills that are essential for inclusive and sustainable development. Do you know that India has more children of school going age than the population of the USA? India has 42,000 plus colleges, 1100 plus universities, 1 crore or 10 million teachers. Every year, 1.5 crores or 15 million children matriculate. India awards 82 lakhs or 8.2 million bachelor's and master's degrees and around 25,000 PhDs. It is the largest democratic educational ecosystem in the world. India is a Gyan Sagar or an educational and knowledge superpower. As we engage in this conference, let us recommit ourselves to the vision of education that fosters a truly humane society, one where individuals are not only knowledgeable but also wise, not only skilled but also compassionate. We must work together, educators, policymakers, and communities, to make this vision a reality. For it is through a deeply embedded value system that we can achieve peace, equity, and well being for all. Friends, from the language Sanskrit to Sanskriti or culture, from Sanskriti to Sanskar, cultural values, and from Sanskar to Sanskar Dham, where these values are taught. It is the educational system of India that connects them all. I wish you all an enriching and impactful conference. Thank you, and Bharat Mata ki Jai.
Sincere regards and gratitude, sir, for your virtual presence and blessings for the well-being of all. At the commencement of the 9th International Conference, we hold in great respect to receive another heartfelt message from Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, Gayam Shering Pem Wangchuk of Bhutan, our neighboring nation, constantly making efforts for GNH. While she couldn't join us in person, her message is certainly a source of great inspiration and a privilege for all of us. Kindly play the video.
Good morning, Namaste, Kusasangpo. It is with a heart full of gratitude and hope that I address you today. When I first learned about the profound work Sri Ganesh Bagaria and his dedicated colleagues are doing in the realm of value education, I was deeply moved. In October 2017, I attended a 3-day workshop on universal human values. The experience left an indelible mark on my soul. What I encountered during those days was nothing short of transformative. It was a deep awakening to the intrinsic goodness that lies within every being, a path akin to that of the Bodhisattva. These values are not distant ideals, but the very essence of what it means to be human. In Bhutan, we know them as the principles underlying gross national happiness. Universal human values and gross national happiness are two sides of the same coin, both striving to cultivate a world where compassion, wisdom, and well-being are the forefront. Since then, I have maintained a close connection with the UHV team as I see boundless potential in this movement. It was a true honor to participate in the 2018 7th International Conference on Universal Human Values in Higher Education in Thimphu, Bhutan. Today, as we gather for the 9th conference, I am filled with immense joy to extend my warmest wishes to all of you. The fact that this conference is being held online is a blessing in disguise, allowing educators from all corners of the globe to unite in our shared pursuit of a more humane society. In a world that is rapidly losing its humanity, our efforts have never been more critical. Now, more than ever, it is imperative that the Universal Human Values program be woven into the fabric of our education systems. From the earliest stages of life, whether in kindergartens, daycare centers, or early child development programs, through all levels of formal education and even in our workplaces, we must instill these values. Reforming education worldwide is not just necessary, it is urgent. Only then can we reclaim our sanity and our humanity. I firmly believe that each of you here today holds the power to influence a generation that can and will make a difference. With the collective presence of esteemed press members, vice chancellors, and officers from higher education regulatory bodies across various countries, we have the opportunity to extend the reach of universal human values education far and wide. Together, we can create a more harmonious, happier world. I'm deeply thankful for this incredible opportunity to speak to you all. My heartfelt congratulations go out to the UHV Foundation and all the organizers of this conference. May this summit be a resounding success. I wish you all Tashitale and thank you.
Sincere gratitude to the Queen Mother for sharing her views with us as an encouragement. Thanks a lot. It's now time to introduce our next guest of honor of the session, Professor Dr. R.K. Agrawalji, Director General Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Group Captain Dr. R.K. Agrawalji has served the nation with distinction for 28 years in the Indian Air Force and DRDO, followed by 20 years in education as the director of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, AKGEC, Ghaziabad. Dr. Agarwal is a recipient of the Royal Aeronautical Society UK Award for Academic Excellence and a DRDO citation for his role in designing airborne early warning aircraft. His accomplishments are highlighted in 100 Great IITians dedicated to the service of the nation by Commodore V.K. Jaitley. Dr. Agrawal's vision extends beyond academics, fostering a culture of corporate social responsibility. His initiatives include running a free primary school, adopting a municipal school, and promoting civic responsibility among students. He emphasizes holistic development, instilling self discipline, ethics, and a positive attitude to nurture competent professionals and responsible citizens. Sir has been instrumental and committed in promoting the universal human values at the institution, recognizing the need of complementarity of values and skills, and strongly advocates to shape up value based humane engineers for a developed and harmonious society. We heartily welcome you, sir, for your inaugural address.
I'll begin with 3 points, which I'm sure all of us, irrespective of the country or the region we belong to, will agree. I think, firstly, we all know that over the last 100 odd years, there's been a constant degradation, there's been a constant erosion in morals, values, and ethics in our society. And that is why, despite phenomenal advancements in technology and also the general standard of living, which has given us unprecedented levels of comfort, we have failed to fulfill the fundamental aspirations of happiness, harmony, peace, and prosperity. We'll also agree that this situation cannot permit it to go on, that the situation needs to change. We need to change our thought process, our values, our attitudes, and our behavior. And for any lasting change to take place in the society, the most potent and the most powerful tool is the education. So there is no doubt that in case if we have to bring any change in the society, it has to start with our education system. And today we all know that our education system has overemphasis on skills. That is, students how to do, but not what and why to do. With the result, the students themselves are unable to fulfill their fundamental aspirations. And this has to change. We have to change from skill-based education to holistic value-based education. And that is why the values, the ethics have to be added, have to be incorporated, have to be integrated into our education system as such. But for that, we also have to recognize and understand that values cannot be taught. The values are actually not instructional. These are transformational. So unless we as the educators are ourselves lit, unless we are ourselves ignited, we cannot truly pass on the values to our students. To give you a very, very crude example, if we were to add have tea and coffee or milk, and if we were to add a spoon of sugar into that, it will not make the coffee sweet unless we churn it, unless we mix it into it. Also, if the coffee was to be hot, possibly it'll mix faster and it'll mix better. So similarly, as far as our students are concerned, we got to initiate, we got to inspire, and we got to transform them to bring about this change. In our institution, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, we've been trying to integrate values into our education system so that we produce not just competent, globally employable engineers, but also humane students conscious of their civic and social responsibilities. About 15 years back, we started our journey through introduction of an audit course on professional ethics and human values.
With his wide-ranging experience and visionary leadership, Dr. Agarwal continues to inspire and set benchmarks in both education and service to society. We are immensely delighted to have him in this session for interaction in spite of his busy schedule. From the delegates, if any question or sharing on Professor Dr. R.K. Agarwal ji's sharing or talk, you are most welcome. Let me check whether attendees are interested to ask questions from Dr. R.K. Agarwal ji.
Upasana I think the video got interrupted in between. So I suspect that after half of it, not many people stayed connected.
So, sir, may I take few questions from viewers?
You're most welcome. You're most welcome to take questions or for any part to be repeated if they couldn't hear it properly.
Ji, ji. Ji. So here Dr. Prashant Daivani ji, he wished to ask or interact with Dr. R.K. Agarwal ji. So let me
जी
जी जी भैया.
Thank you, Dr. Upasana ji. Dr. Agrawal sir, I am actually professor and dean of Government Engineering College, Nagpur. So, if at all the system which you are having in your colleges is to be applied, how we can start in our government engineering college? Because I am very much impressed with your all, particularly Gopal Babuji and all, and your all this speech today. So please give 1 or 2 minutes guidance for me at least, so that I can have in government institution. Thank you.
Fair enough. So first and foremost, I don't think there is any fundamental difference between a government organization and a private institution like ours. So have no fear. You can implement it as effectively and as smoothly as we have done. And to share the beginning with it, I think to start with, as we did, you will have to get some kind of a nucleus team in your institution of faculty members who themselves have undergone these courses. So
Yeah.
the AICT runs these programs, and we do it in our college as well. And as far as I'm concerned, I've got a good team of about 7 people who are nationally recognized and qualified. So I'll be too happy to start with to conduct a program in your institution. If you can't send your faculty, I'll send my people to your institution. You get
Ji.
about 8 to 10 of your interested faculty members to undergo at least this 8 days UHV workshop, level 2, as they call it. And then some of these people could then graduate to the higher levels.
Ji.
And I would think, like in our university, we started off as an audit program, so that it was not a credit program.
Yeah.
And even though it was compulsory for all, many students took a lot of interest in it. And we were surprised, and that is why we made it a credit program. And today you will be surprised that compared to the technical elective courses, there are many students who are opting for the advanced courses in human values.
Very nice. Yeah.
So it is only a question of making a beginning and persisting with it. So as I said, unless we, the educators or the senior people in your organization are themselves ignited and are convinced of its value and utility, and if they be so, then it will continue. And like in our institution, I think I mentioned, and you must have heard, including myself, all deans and heads of departments and 100% faculty members have undergone this at least 8 days.
Very nice. So nice of you.
So we'll be too happy to interface and give it to you in your institution or my institution. No issue at all.
Thank you. Ji. Thanks. So as a first step, AICT has given us in 2022, I conducted, I was LPC there, around 100 teachers, this one, FDP on UHU2. Now this year also I have applied, so I am trying. Thank you. Ji.
Oh, that's very good. Fair enough.
Ji. Thanks a lot. Namaste. Thank you, Vanchana ji. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prashant Bhaiya. Webinar is open for question answer. And
Ji, thank you.
Agrawal
Ji,
generously accepted our invitation to interact with you all. So if there is any other question, you are most welcome.
Ji.
Or any reflection on Professor Agrawal's talk, you are most welcome. Yes. I'm able to see another hand raised, Dr. B. Suryakanti ji. Suryakanti, mic is there with you. Yes. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, madam. Is it audible, madam, my voice?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is to Dr. Agrawal, sir. Sir, is there any community services implemented from your institute, sir, to just serve the community?
Yes, I get your point, and let me tell you that there are very many things we do for the community in terms of value education and as well as in terms of supporting the lower strata of our society. So as far as the service, and we involve our students into all these activities, so also so that they also become conscious of their civic and social responsibility. So to start with, we do simple things like I run a primary school in our institution where we teach the children of the labor who work in our institution. So generally speaking, there are about 15 to 20 students in the age group of 5 to 12 years who come there, and they're given basic education plus lunch in our messes. So that is first thing that we have done. Subsequently, we've also adopted a corporation school in the village called Kazipura, which is very close to our institution. So these corporation schools are not so very well established. Either the government funding is less or the teachers are not readily available. So we did a lot of physical work there in the sense we created a boundary wall, we gave them swings, we renovated their bathrooms and so on. And then our students used to go there and talk to the children once in a while and give them certain skills. We also adopted a refugee camp in Delhi, by the way. And the refugee camp has got about 110 families and 600 residents. And throughout the COVID, we had to support them with foods and rations. And then we built 2 rooms for them, one classroom for the children to study. They have their own teacher who comes, and also a sewing center with sewing machines. So these are some of the few things that we do where our students also participate and they get to learn, how to, when they grow up, how to sort of contribute to the social upliftment as well. As far as value education is concerned, let me also share that in addition to conducting the programs for our own students and the faculty development programs for various institutions, we have done it for the parents of our students. We've also done it for the family members of our faculty community. We have run programs in the Dasna jail near our college, and we've also done it for school principals. In fact, the CBSE has a program where they sent all to various institutions, principals of CBSE schools. So we are well on the way to spread whatever we have learned and acquired in the sphere of social service and the value education. I hope that answers your question pretty elaborately.
Thank you so much, sir, for your profound and enlightening talk and amiable presence. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
We are now delighted to greet our guest of honor, Professor Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe, an education regulator in India, who has been a driving force in promoting value education throughout the Indian technical education. We welcome you, sir, to share your views, please.
Delegates from Asia Pacific nations, Japan, Australia, Africa, more than 36 nations. And just now, Professor Kumar Sambhav has elaborated on how and why we started this program as Universal Human Values Program. Because these are values which are universal, these are humane, and that's why these are universal human values. And before Kumar Sambhav, Dr. Vishal Sharma, the ambassador to UNESCO in Paris, and Her Majesty Gyalum Sangye Choden Wangchuk, the Queen Mother from Bhutan, also spoke about the importance of this very important program. And we are all aware that this is the 9th edition or the 9th International Conference for Leadership Development Program on Universal Human Values.
You, sir. Under your visionary guidance, UHV got a firm foundation in technical education. And now here emerged a big scope to construct a dream place over this firm foundation. Gratitude, sir. Heartfelt gratitude.
How and why we started this program as Universal Human Values Program. Because these are values which are universal, these are humane, and that's why these are universal human values. And before Kumar Sambhav, Dr. Vishal Sharma, the ambassador to UNESCO in Paris, and Her Majesty Gyalum Sangye Soden Wangchuk, the Queen Mother from Bhutan, also spoke about the importance of this very important program. And we are all aware that this is the 9th edition or the 9th International Conference for Leadership Development Program on Universal Human Values. And my, salutations go to three important persons who created this entire structure: Dr. Ganesh Bagaria ji, Dr. Sangal, and Dr. Rajneesh Arora ji. All three of them having experimented in their respective places for a long time. As we know, the history of UHV itself in different formats emerged from the year 1980 onwards, whether it was in IIT Delhi or UPTU or Punjab Technical University, IIIT Hyderabad, BHU, all that was brought together in nutshell and was presented in the years 2000 onwards, and it was realized that this is what is necessary for our education system. Well, AICT adopted it right from 2016-17 onwards, because I had myself, as a director of an institute in Pune, had interacted with Dr. Sangal and found that the problems which the students are facing, whether it is in terms of relationships, whether it is in terms of always looking for happiness in high packages, which will only take you nowhere. And we realize that we need to train our students right from beginning when they come into the college or university. One of the very important things which I had my own experience was, whether it is in IIT or whether it is in a college, that students, when they come, they all are aspiring, they're highly aspirational, and the aspiration is only to become richer, to have a higher package. But when we deal with students, we realize other two, three things. They come from different backgrounds, some of them from poor background, some from rich background, some come from what we call English medium schools, and some come from their own mother tongue language schools. Some come from very remote areas, rural areas, tribal areas. Some of them come from cities. And there's so much difference between each one of them that diversity is very clearly visible, but still not realized by the students, and they make fun of each other. How do we integrate them? How do we socialize them? How do we bring in human values amongst them? I think the universal human values as the starting program, which we call as induction program, was very, very important. I had been aware of it, but I could do it only in one college. Thanks to AICT, which I got opportunity to lead from 2015, and we invited all of these people and created National Coordination Committee. I know Dr. Arora ji is also going to join and also will give lectures on this. Kumar Sambhav has already done it. We have Rajul Asthana ji who is going to speak about it, and also Dr. Sitaram, who is the current chairman of AICT. All of them will give their viewpoints about all of this. But while we were doing all of this from 2017 onwards, 2020 was a turning point from two aspects. Number one, the National Education Policy came in the year 2020, and it spoke about holistic, multidisciplinary, value-based, rooted in Indian value systems education to be imparted to our students, right from school education to higher education. And many a times I had been arguing that when the students come to the college or university, they are already grown up. They are not even adolescent at times, and therefore can we really inculcate these values at that late age? Can we not, or should we not start it from the school? Thankfully, the national education policy talks about values right from childhood. That means in the new system of instead of 10 plus 2, what we call 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, all of these aspects are in a way covered. But how do we integrate them? And that is where this whole phenomenon of not forcing anything on anyone, but providing it in the form of proposals and asking students to either self-introspect, explore, or contemplate, and then come out with what they feel about each one of those aspects makes them really realize the true human values. Because that happiness which everyone wants cannot be successful only if you are happy, but unless the entire society in and around you is happy. And that's why the national education policy or the national government always talks about access, equity, inclusivity. While we certainly want quality, but along with that, this access and inclusivity is very important. And this can be made to realize in the early education part, that is our what we call induction program. When we ask certain questions to students, some of the students who come from rural background are aware of agriculture, horticulture, the manner in which the village life exists, which is akin to very close to nature. And whereas students coming from towns and cities are not aware of that, but whereas they may have better communication skills, they may have better access to some of the tools and technologies. And therefore, if we make them realize that each one of them can collaborate, they can become more happier rather than being individualistic. And that's where the entire human value system, what we talk about, starting with individual happiness to the happiness in the society and the surroundings. And therefore, when we talk about surroundings, a college or university will have some slum or some village nearby. Unless they are happy, we cannot be happy. I think this is also a realization which has to be borne in mind. And then subsequently, from the society to surroundings to the entire, maybe your district, your state, your entire nation, and from nation to the entire planet, and from planet to probably the entire universe. Today we are going into the space. So the whole concept of consciousness, which is from individual consciousness to the universal consciousness, I think this is what is very reflective, very important, and this is what the Universal Human Values Program is imparting. I'm aware of thousands of volunteers. When we started, actually, there were about a few volunteers, but now there are more than 750, 1,000. The numbers are increasing. Anytime we conduct a program, which is a training program for faculty members, because they have to deal with our induction program. So unless teachers are trained, they cannot go to the classroom and then interact with the students in the same manner as that of making self-exploration or self-introspection by the students. And therefore, we said we start training the faculty members. And that's why 2017 to 20, when it was all in physical form, suddenly one side, as I said, national education policy had come, but on the other side, pandemic broke out. And therefore, these physical meetings were impossible. And that is where we needed to innovate. And we started an exercise that whether by using Zoom or Google Meet, can we do such kind of an exercise? And we found that a tool like Zoom was very effective. First, we experimented on ourselves, because when you want to say something to others, we have to experiment on ourselves. We had such a program for only AICT officers during pandemic, and it was so successful that each one of them felt so passionate about it. Then we said that let us explore now for all the colleges and universities, but through the teacher development program or faculty development program. And that is where leadership development program began. And I am very happy that when we were having doubts whether in an online mode can we train so many people, but from starting with hardly small number like 50, we went to 200, and there was a demand that we should also hold it for 1,000 people simultaneously. So one learning lesson which I learned, not just for universal human values, but even for the classrooms or any lectures, talks, or what we call Swayam courses, whichever it may be, in an online mode, if the quality of the teacher who is imparting those skill sets or that education or that knowledge, if he is passionate or she is passionate, you can connect with the masses. I think this is very easily verifiable, seen, and thereby people will get attracted and they will not leave. It is almost something similar to our soap opera in TV shows. We always want to know what next, same way what Professor Kumar Sambhav has said, now what Dr. Raju Lastana is going to say, people will get excited about it. And that is how this particular program has become successful even during pandemic of 2020 to 2022. And now we are open, we continue both in the form of the physical as well as in the virtual mode. That means blended mode. And this has gone a long way. But what we need to understand is this particular program today itself is not just about universal human values, but attached with that is sustainable development goals. This is very necessary because India has committed itself that by 2070, we will be net zero. And this is a challenge. Unless our educational institutions are aware of the entire facet and nuances of it, be it use of the renewable energy, reduced use of energy, recycling of the existing resources, be it water, be it any form of resource that we are using, unless we are trained in that, the students who graduate, when they go out, whether it is in offices of IAS officer or whether they become employees of an industry or whether they become entrepreneurs, go for higher studies, this message embedded in their DNA at the young age. And if we do that, right from school to the college, university education, wherever, whichever profession they start professing, I'm sure they will have element of sustainability or what we call the climate change, which is dangerous, will be embedded in them and they will take care of it. And we want our next generation to be safer, to be better, to enjoy the life, because we want Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the cardinal principles of our ancient civilization of India, which we took it in G20, which we took it in all fora wherever we go. I'm sure Vishal Sharma quite often in the Paris, whenever he speaks in UNESCO, talks about our ethics, values. But somewhere within India, we find that in the schools, colleges, it is somewhere missing. And to bring our system back on track, we have started this very interesting event. And I just wanted to inform all of you that we are indeed to a great extent successful, but still it's a long way to go. We want more and more volunteers, more and more colleges, universities, not only in their own college and university, but go to the surroundings, nearby schools, and inculcate these values. Then our true national education policy will also be successful. The world will become a happy place to live in. We will do the well-being of not only ourselves, but the surroundings, planet, as well as the entire universe. Namaste, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much. As we conclude the inaugural session of our conference and embark on this journey, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all our distinguished speakers for sharing their wisdom and vision with us today. Your insights have truly set the tone of the conference for the meaningful conversations that will follow over the next 3 days, certainly. Although here the time is 8:40, but we are getting few messages that we couldn't hear Professor Agarwal's video completely because of technical glitch. So may we have Professor Agarwal's video once again. I request technical team to please play this video again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jai Hind. I'm very happy and feel privileged to be part of this international conference on universal human values for higher education. I'm also happy to share my thoughts in the inaugural session today. I'll begin with 3 points, which I'm sure all of us, irrespective of the country or the region we belong to, will agree. I think firstly, we all know that over the last 100 odd years, there's been a constant degradation, there's been a constant erosion in morals, values, and ethics in our society. And that is why, despite phenomenal advancements in technology and also the general standard of living, which has given us unprecedented levels of comfort, we have failed to fulfill the fundamental aspirations of happiness, harmony, peace, and prosperity. We'll also agree that this situation cannot permit it to go on, that the situation needs to change. We need to change our thought process, our values, our attitudes, and our behavior. And for any lasting change to take place in the society, the most potent and the most powerful tool is the education. So there is no doubt that in case if we have to bring any change in the society, it has to start with our education system. And today we all know that our education system has overemphasis on skills. That is, we teach our students how to do, but not what and why to do. With the result, the students themselves are unable to fulfill their fundamental aspirations. And this has to change. We have to change from skill-based education to holistic value-based education. And that is why the values, the ethics have to be added, have to be incorporated, have to be integrated into our education system as such. But for that, we also have to recognize and understand that values cannot be taught. The values are actually not instructional. These are transformational. So unless we as the educators are ourselves lit, unless we are ourselves ignited, we cannot truly pass on the values to our students. To give you a very, very crude example, if you were to add tea, have tea and coffee or milk, and if we were to add a spoon of sugar into that, it will not make the coffee sweet unless we churn it, unless we mix it into it. Also, if the coffee was to be hot, possibly it'll mix faster and it'll mix better. So similarly, as far as our students are concerned, we got to initiate, we got to inspire, and we got to transform them to bring about this change. In our institution, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, we've been trying to incorporate, to integrate values into our education system so that we produce not just competent, globally employable engineers, but also humane students conscious of their civic and social responsibilities. About 15 years back, we started our journey through introduction of an audit course on professional ethics and human values. And subsequently, we turned it into a credit course. And today, in addition to this credit course, which is compulsory for all the second year students, we also run 3 elective advanced courses related to value education. Few years back, we also included the human values into our induction program, which is of 3 weeks duration for all the new students who join the institution. As far as faculty and staff are concerned, as I mentioned earlier, it is essential that it starts from us. So in our institution, it is compulsory for all faculty members to undergo this 8 days human values and professional ethics course. And that includes all deans, heads of department, including myself. Also, to create awareness and to create harmony with the environment, we maintain in our campus an eco-friendly, trash-free, cost-effective structure. We also have all our terraces are covered with solar panels to generate about 330 kilowatts of energy. We have a very scientific trash management system in our college. We also have a chain of rainwater harvesting wells whereby every drop of rainwater goes back to Mother Earth. We also use a sewage treatment plant to recycle the water and to use it for horticulture. To inculcate the values for their civic and social responsibilities in our institution, we involve our students into a number of social activities. We run a free primary school in the campus. We have also adopted a cooperation school in a nearby village, and our students take part in this. In the summer programs, we regularly take students from nearby villages, and our students give them skilling programs in C++ and other computer languages. We've also adopted a refugee camp. So all these activities of ours have gone a long way into creating a system on our campus whereby a student not only learns, not only becomes a competent engineer, as I said, but also a responsible member of the society, conscious of his civic and social responsibility. In the end, I'd like to say that the journey has just begun, and we are trying to transform ourselves from value education, whereby we teach values, to value-based education, and then value-based living, and finally living values. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. For viewers' satisfaction, we played this video again. All 3 days of this conference are linked like an alphabetical sequence, with each session creating a rhythmic and vibrant sound together on a single note of shared purpose and vision. We shall now have a break of 15 minutes, that is 8:45 to 9 p.m. And at 9 p.m. shall assemble for the keynote session to understand the core content and process. Thank you everyone for joining this inaugural session. Thank you so much. Thank you.